welcome everyone. Welcome to the Virtual Advantage live show. I'm your host, Charmy Galang, and my co host, Francois Lancier. I am one of the founders of Innovate, Virtual Assistants, and we are very excited. Today's topic is something that's super interesting to a lot of people. It's something I aspire to as well. And I find it's also part of the series we started, Francois? This is like the
Yes,
third part of the live. We started when you were in Dubai in Malaysia. We talked about entrepreneurship, and now this is like once you've done entrepreneurship, you can invest globally. So our the title for today is Invest Globally, Unlimited Possibilities. So I'll let you go ahead, Francois. So how did you start this journey?
yeah,
Because
it's kind
Canada
of
is a great
insane.
country, right? So
Yes, well, that's it. So let's start with kind of mindset. So we're
Mhm.
brought up that Canada, if you're Canadian or if you're American, you're told your country is the best in the world. And I believe that for, I'd say, about 38, 39 years. I'm 43 now, so you know now the journey when it started. And yeah, I believe that for many years, like it's got the best school, water, all kinds of things. And then, anyway, I started questioning things because of work. And also, the more you get into business, you find out that as an entrepreneur, you get a lot of benefits like tax deductions and things. And all these years, I was trying to just be an employee. So, anyway, I started questioning that. And then, as a business owner, I also started questioning, is this the best place for my business? Is Canada growth friendly or the US? And I find, yeah, there's all kinds of tax breaks and advantages, but overall, I wouldn't say it's the most friendly country or countries to do business in. The US, it can be a tax haven if you're not American. You can
Mm.
use LLCs as flow throughs and pay no income tax, depending on how it's set up. So, of course, do your research. Canada does not allow that. Obviously, that would be amazing. I'd become non-Canadian and invest in Canada. So, anyway, so I just started questioning things like what's the best, COVID as well, whether you agree or
Yeah.
disagree. Both sides of the coin, sorry, was this the best way to manage our country?
Mhm.
Also, elections and things like just the way our electoral system is set up. The government in place is a minority government for many, many years. Is that really how I want things to be managed? So I started exploring. I don't know if this is how in depth you wanted it, but
Yeah,
anyway.
no, for sure. Well, I think that's a fair question because a lot of people leave their country to live in Canada, right? So for us,
Yes,
it's really we're curious why you would, as a Canadian who's born here, what are the advantages of leaving Canada, and what is the switch? What were the reasons you decided to leave?
I know. And the sad part, my family, I did my family tree, and we've been here 400 years. So, Charmy, I don't mean to pick on you, but you're a more recent addition. So,
Yeah,
wonderful addition to Canada. But obviously, you weren't, well,
I
not
wasn't
obviously,
born
but you
here.
weren't born here. And some people were born here, they're newcomers. My family was a new Canadian family back in the 1600s, but we've been here a
Wow.
long time. And the
Yeah.
reason my ancestors left is they were starving.
Hmm.
So my ancestors are French. Obviously, you can hear from my accent and name. But yeah, they were starving, and there were political issues. So it kind of sounds like 2023
Hmm.
political issues, inflation. So back then, I am not sure. I guess you exchange stones or something for food. I don't know. But something was going on in the country, lack of resources and other things.
Yeah.
So I kind of like my ancestors. I started questioning what's better. Like, do I have to
Mhm.
put up with winter? I loved
Right.
winter for many years, and then now I don't know. I'm 43. I'm kind of tired of it. I've seen last winter 350 centimeters of snow was a record year. Do
Yes.
I want winter? And then I started thinking about snowbirds. They leave Canada for 6 months each year. What if I
Yeah.
did the same? What are the consequences? And I also started thinking about what if I left forever? What are the
Mhm.
consequences?
Right.
Immigrate or emigrate, I guess, would be the proper term.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's such an exciting journey too. And It did take a few years, Francois. So when was it the day that you decided this is it? Like, what was the switch? What made you really decide, like, I'm gonna make the steps to make sure that I'll have the option to leave and find something better for me and my business and my family as well? Because you're bringing your family,
Yes,
right?
and the
So, and the
cat.
cat, yeah, don't forget about the cat.
Exactly, and I think we have a I'll answer this, but then, yeah, we have a question. Oh, no,
Yeah.
a comment. A high of 9 in Calgary today, so, yeah, that's it. Ottawa was I woke up super early because of jet lag, was, like, 8 at 4 AM or something. This is really cold. So, anyway,
Mm,
the big switch happened. So, COVID was a big irritant. I worked in
right.
healthcare, and anyway, that was a big thing. The trucker
Mm,
convoy, agree or disagree.
mm-hmm,
Anyway, we witnessed it. I'm in Ottawa, so we saw things and I disagreed with that. But that
mm-hmm,
still didn't really push me over the edge. What pushed me over the edge is the inflation.
right.
And some countries actually right now have no inflation or very little, like zero point 0.5. Some
Wow.
have deflation. So I'd like some explanations. Same thing with
Mm,
the empty shelves during COVID. Now
right.
that I've traveled, some countries had overflowing shelves, no toilet paper issues. So
Mm,
is this reality? Is this true? I'm not into conspiracy too much, I don't think anyway. But maybe you can be treated best elsewhere. Maybe there's places that are more conducive to business, profit, raising a
yeah.
family the way I wanted to. Although my kids are quite old now, so they they kind of boss me around. But anyway,
That's
the
another
cats.
topic.
That's a whole different topic.
We're not
But
getting into that one.
healthcare as well. Do
Hmm,
am I getting good healthcare services? So I don't have a
right.
family doctor. It's been years. If I want one in Ontario, you can't
Mm,
really. Quebec, you're sort of fortunate. You can go private. Ontario,
yeah.
it's not an option. There's
Wow.
not
Okay.
really
Yeah.
private. So you're kind of on your own. Like, what do I do? Go to the States, go to
Yeah.
emergency. So those are scary things. As I grow
Yeah.
older, eventually I will need medical help. I
It's
hope it's
true.
not much, but that's part of life. My kids
Yeah.
too. What they if they want to have children, do you just give birth in your garage? Like what's going on? So anyway, those are very big things. I'm sure there are services. I mean, we
Hmm.
still have hospitals and doctors, and I really value those people. They work really hard. It's
Yes.
been very challenging. It's really not their fault. So I
No,
see
for
someone else
sure.
joining us. Good morning. Um,
Hi.
so just those all those questions. Is there
Mm,
something better? And
yeah.
as an investor as well,
Yes,
I
it's
invest
true.
in real estate. Are there places where it's more profitable? So
Hmm.
if I add all this up, then yeah, I'm willing to take the chance. There's lots of good things, but there's
Yeah.
good things elsewhere too.
No, for sure. And I think that's such a great point, Francois, because we hear it all the time. People complain about things, they're like, "Oh, this is bad." And it's like there's an option.
Yes.
You don't have to stay in that environment. You can definitely move or that's another place that's more that you'll flourish, right? So it's not like you're stuck here and then you
No.
can't you have to stay here forever. So what are the steps you took to really understand how to invest globally, and actually how do you choose the countries that are better as
Yes.
well?
So I want to actually quote Elvis. I think it is a little less doing, or what is it? His song, a little less. Anyway, just do things like he said in
Yeah,
his song. I forget which one it is, but
I don't
you should
remember his
just.
songs.
Yeah, I don't even know why I have that in my mind, but Elvis, great influencer. He disappeared in 1977. So the steps. So number one, take inventory of what are the irritants. So I named
Mm,
mine, and those might not be the same for you, and I really respect that. Some people might be like, I love winter, I want to ski. Perfect. Enjoy it. Maybe you just want to be a snowbird. Maybe this is just part of the year for you. Um,
right.
so take stock of that. For me, it was a variety of things. Like I said, healthcare, it's really silly
Taxes.
things. I wear orthotics, so I need once every 2 years a prescription to get reimbursed for orthotics. And that was super painful to get one because I don't have a doctor, and
Wow.
then you can't get it. And then I'm like, well, I need to kind of walk. So sorry, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to emergency for that because it's really non urgent. So
Yes.
healthcare was a big thing. Where can I get it for free, for cheap, or for an
Mhm.
affordable amount? So I found several countries where that is available.
Okay.
Uh, potable water. So that might
Yes.
seem like a small thing, but for me, that is a priority. I right now I'm really focusing and narrowing my investments, but I want to go in countries where you can just turn on the tap and drink the water.
Yes.
Hopefully, there's no fluoride like in Ontario in the tap water, but I still drink it anyway.
You don't have a choice. You need to drink water. So
Well, that's I could get a filter and stuff.
yeah, it's
But
true.
the tap water I find is reflective of the government and the place where you're going. So a
Mm,
country that is not able to provide water you can drink has some other issues underlying. So
right.
my wife and I, we just came back from Dubai and Malaysia.
Hmm.
Malaysia, you can't drink the tap water,
No.
and Dubai, you can. So
Okay.
Malaysia was gorgeous, really cheap, way more affordable. But now Jennifer's sick, so it's gonna take a few days to get better. And it's probably because of, I don't know, you shower and you get a drop in
Yeah.
your mouth or something. So that's a big thing for me. So those steps is thinking, what are the non-negotiable elements?
Yes.
Can you
That's
deal with
true.
that non-potable water? Good for you. I'm a city guy. I don't deal with wells and all of that stuff. I don't know how to manage it. So roadways, what can you do? Are you able to drive on those streets?
Yeah.
Picture yourself. If you want to leave, where will you go? And can you see yourself there? Can
Yeah.
you do business? Language as well. So I'm learning Spanish. It's getting better every day, thanks to Duolingo and my wife putting up with me. But that's a big thing. Like in Dubai, there was not much language barrier. English is widely spoken, and French too, which I was surprised
Well, okay.
because of a lot of people from Morocco and Algeria and I'm not sure how you say it in English, Maghrébin, the countries in North
Mm-hmm.
Africa that speak
Maghreb.
French.
Yeah.
Maghreb, yeah, they speak French and lots have moved to Dubai, so that's an easy country. Malaysia, English is very widely spoken. That's easy. Philippines, they
Yeah.
speak English quite fluently. So kind of
That's
think
it.
about those non-negotiables. And then for business, is this a
Right.
good business environment? So for me, those were my three things. Safety as well.
Yes.
Uh, that's a big one.
I know. Sometimes people forget because we have this romantic picture of all these countries that are warmer countries than Canada. But safety for me, honestly, it's a non-negotiable. Uh,
Well,
you know,
that's
uh,
it.
that's it. People forget. It's like you leave, and especially from an immigrant perspective, a lot of us have left the country more for. I think for me, it was more stability. Like safety is like it's quite important. If the country is not stable, it's very hard to get out when something happens. So
Exactly. Always think of a plan B,
yeah,
C, D, E. Like you shouldn't be a worry wart and always
no,
concerned like what's going on.
that's
But I
it.
think you should be able to sleep peacefully. If you're a woman, be just go out and walk on the street and still be safe.
Yeah.
Of course, just like in Canada, there's certain things you do and you don't do. Like you don't
Yes.
just go looking for trouble, but be smart
Exactly.
about it. But you should be during the day. You should still feel safe on the streets. So those are things I look at for sure. I have a daughter. I have my wife, so I always
That's
want to make
true.
sure they're safe.
Yes.
My belongings as well, like my house, is it safe?
That's it.
Banking, is it safe? That's a big one for North America now. That's more of a rarity. Canada, we've been good. The US,
Hmm.
a lot of banks have defaulted. So
Yes.
look at
Yeah.
that, like the big picture, what's going on politically,
Y-
environmentally as well. That's another big
Yes.
one. Forest fires, landslides.
So it's crazy. So Francois, like you've made this leap. What do you think? Like for some, I can imagine some people like it's not for them. Like, what would
No,
you think the challenge is? If you want to start this life, but it's not for everyone. It's almost like entrepreneurship. I always
it is.
encourage people to really look into it, but it's not maybe for everyone. Not at the moment. So, what were your challenges really like when you were looking at these countries? Was it easy to get information, or did you visit it first? Like, how did you decide?
Yeah, I'm a bit adventurous. So like you said, it's not maybe not for everybody, but
Yeah.
let's say you want to try it and
Mhm.
you're not all in. One thing I would say is travel. Let's say you've gone to Mexico. A lot of people love Mexico. It's got some
Right.
great potential. And in the media, it's shown as very dangerous, but there's some
Hmm.
really safe areas. So let's say you choose Mexico. It's not on my list, and I can tell you why. But you can't drink the tap water. That's one. And then for ownership, if you want to
Mm.
be closer to the sea, it's a land lease with a bank.
Right.
So those are things personally I don't like. If you're okay with it, go for it. That's fine. But what I would
Yeah.
say is don't go to an all-inclusive resort. Get an
No.
Airbnb in the community. Do the a bit more scary stuff. And are you still
Mhm.
comfortable? Can you go shopping for groceries?
That's
Can you go
it.
to the bank and find out the information you need? So that's kind of what I did. In Dubai,
Okay.
I went to banks and I was told, nope, you need a corporation or you need an ID card. I'm like, okay, great. I thought
Okay.
I'd try. Malaysia, same idea. You need a
Yeah.
work permit or some sort of local tie to the country, which I didn't have. But I
Mm.
still got good
Okay.
service. They still gave me all the information.
Yeah.
Groceries, that was easy. Walking around the streets felt safe, and we stayed in the community, not at a fancy hotel,
That's
nothing like
it.
that. So, how would you live if you live there? Think about that and try to rent a place in those areas,
Right.
and that will give you a better indicator. And it's a trip, it could be a business expense. You're
Yeah,
exploring
it's
the
true.
country.
And then what is the trifecta, Francois? I know sometimes we talk about it. Can you tell
Yes.
me more how that works?
Yeah, so trifecta, like this is we're really deep for those that are
Yeah.
not quite awake. Get your coffee because yeah, I can go deep in this stuff.
Well,
So
we'll do a very
trifecta,
short intro what
I
it is.
know the espresso shot. Um,
Yes.
so normally you live in a country. Let's say, well, now you live in Canada. We'll take you, Charmy, as an example.
Mhm.
You live in Canada. Most of your stuff is in Canada,
Yeah.
and your tax residency is Canadian. So
Yes.
you pay your taxes to Canada, and Canadians were quite fortunate. Our citizenship and our tax residency are not connected.
Mm.
If you're American, they're connected. So
Okay.
if you're American, your taxes have to be paid to the US regardless of where you live. You could live
Yes.
in Japan for 40 years, you still have to pay. There is the foreign earned income exclusion. It's an amount around $110,000 per person. That part, if it's earned outside of the US, is not taxable. If you go above that, you got to pay taxes.
Right.
Canada, you can leave tax residency. It's quite a
Okay.
process. It's not easy, but it's doable. So
Okay.
let's say you do that. That's step number one. So let's say you leave Canada, you don't like taxes, and you go to Costa Rica. Costa Rica
Mhm.
has income taxes, and if you live there permanently full time, then you become a tax resident of Costa Rica. Right.
Okay.
So now you've just kind of moved the problem. You went from Canada having taxes to Costa Rica and taxes.
Okay.
You could go to Dubai, zero taxes. Okay, that's an option. But you're still kind of trapped in that net of one government. One
Mm.
government looking after you and also kind of you're kind of entrapped. So you do need it legally,
Mhm.
you need a tax residency somewhere.
Yes. Yeah.
But you don't have to actually live there. You could get what's called paper tax residency.
Okay.
So some countries offer tax residency for very, very short stays. You could go there once a year for a day
Wow.
and you become a tax resident of Georgia, for example, or Dubai is 90 days, or
Okay.
you can kind of start accumulating that and building like shopping. If how do you
Right.
do your groceries, Charmy? Like are you cheap like me? I bring coupons and ad match and all that stuff, or how do you shop for groceries?
I'm in between. Like if there's I will look for some deals, but I work more with proximity. Like I don't want to
Okay.
be driving different places. I'm like, no, that's not for me. So
Then that's okay. So you have to know yourself. So
yeah.
proximity is a big thing. For me, it's more one-stop shop. So
Mm,
proximity, yes, but then I love we have the superstore here in Ottawa. You
okay.
go there and they'll match all prices in different stores. And the
Wow.
reason I'm saying that is you've got all the products, you get the prices. So you're kind of doing the same with your citizenship and your tax residency.
Okay.
You're shopping for the best option, so let's
Yes.
0% sounds amazing. 0% might not actually not be the best option for you. Like Dubai is
Hmm.
0%, as I said, a lot of Caribbean countries. are at zero. But again, what do you do for a living? Do you need Stripe
That's
payments
it.
for like an online thing? If you're in the Caribbean, the banks, they're not that great. So you're not paying, but you're gonna be living through hell. So maybe
Yes,
paying 1% in a more advanced country will be fine.
that's
I
it.
love the Caribbean too, but maybe it's not conducive to what you do. So that's
Yes.
what the trifecta is. It's picking usually three places. Try
Okay.
one that's your tax residency. Normally, it's got to be 183 days,
Right.
but some countries do differ from that.
Hmm.
So once you've left like Canadian tax residency, you can do that.
Okay.
And you can also pick other countries. So let's say you like winter for a little bit.
Hmm.
Why not stay in? It's like it snows in Bulgaria. Go skiing in
Okay.
Bulgaria for 2 months, and then you want to go grape picking in Italy for 4 months. There you go. You got well. Italy would be tough. You do 3 months. So 3 months in Italy, 2 months in Bulgaria. So we're at five. Now, if you do seven in Costa Rica, now you're a tax resident of Costa Rica
Yeah.
or Dubai for 7 months. Now you got 0% income tax. Like you start kind of
So you
building.
really, yeah, you're building the trifecta, whatever that works for you.
That's it.
Yeah. So your main residency is going to be Costa Rica, from what I right, because you're moving to Costa Rica. So
Yes, I am. So definitely. For me, what I'm starting with Costa Rica, and it's not going to be a perfect trifecta. For now, I'm choosing to become a tax resident of Costa Rica because I want citizenship over there
right,
to have a
right.
second passport. So I'm going to pay a price. You could buy passports. A lot of people don't know about that.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it. I'm kind of doing it, but paying it over many years. I don't have the quarter of a million just sitting there to buy a passport. So yeah, Costa Rica is part of the mix.
Okay, good.
And yeah, just like Erica here, who says this morning her car decided it was time to turn on heated seats and steering wheel. Yeah, I don't want to deal with that in September. So that's kind of why I'm kind
I
of
know, I
leaving.
was shocked too, and it's funny because my daughter started high school and she's taking the bus now, and she texted me. She goes, "Mom, they put the heating in the bus." She was all happy.
Oh, wow.
I was like,
September
"Wow,
20th.
well, how cool is it outside for them to put a heating in a school bus?" But yeah, so it
Wow.
just tells you that I find the weather for Canadians is a tough one because the winter is so long.
Yes.
If you're super unhappy with winter, that's a good reason really to look at other countries.
Yeah,
And what do
stop
you do?
complaining and start
Yeah,
doing.
that's it. Look at your option. So what do you do as a job, François, now that you're leaving Canada? What type of job can I do if I want to be doing what you're doing, like being able to work and live in different countries?
Yeah, that's it. So you have to start thinking outside of the box. So if you're a government employee and you've got like a 9 to 5 job, you got to forget that. That's not going to happen.
Yes.
If you like that, I respect it. We need people to stay at work and do things. If we're all leaving, the planet will be lopsided. We'll have some other
Hmm.
issues. But let's say you're not happy with, usually you're unhappy with your work. You need
Hmm.
an entrepreneurial spirit. So for me, I'm going to sell real estate in Costa Rica. I've also
Okay.
got some partnerships in Dubai, same ideas, helping to sell real estate. I've got Innovate, so we have
Yes.
our team. I've got my investments. So I have several streams of income, and that's what you should have if you want to be living all over the place. It can't be something that's physical. Like the real estate sales is
Hmm.
physically, I have to be present, but
Right.
it's seasonal. So that's why I
Hmm.
chose that. The season is fairly short. It's when tourists are there. So, I mean, that's what makes it just doable. But everybody could be different. Let's say
Yeah.
you do copywriting, you
Hmm.
could write blogs online that can follow you. You need to live the digital nomad lifestyle, I find, or have
Right.
some sort of business that consulting or mortgages, something that can be done remotely.
Yeah, and it gets complicated too if you're dealing with different countries. I
Yes.
find, yes, that's it. So how do you deal with all this? Now you have a team, so you're fortunate.
Yeah,
You can delegate some of the things because it's hard to do it alone.
It really is, and sometimes it's overwhelming. I'll admit it.
Mhm.
It's not easy. Like this morning, I was looking at things and our Airbnb in Costa Rica, there's this, and in Florida, oh yeah, there's a furnace issue, and anyway, the list goes on, and it's enough to go insane. But that was my choice, so
Yes.
got to live with it, not complain, but act on it. So yeah,
Yeah.
you need to set up a team of people. If you're especially if you're alone. For me, I'm fortunate. I'm married. I've got my wife that helps a lot, and my kids now too. They're older, so they can assist with like websites and things. And
Right.
then we have Innovate, our virtual assistants.
That's
But if
it.
you're alone, or even if you're starting out, because a lot of families will disagree with your choice,
Hmm.
it's not everybody will say, "Yeah, sure, quit your job and just throw caution to the wind
Yes.
and go for it." So, if you have a team of like-minded people that are living the virtual or digital nomad lifestyle,
Yes.
like VAs, that's kinda what
Hmm.
they do. They're often traveling.
Yeah.
Our team, they often say, "Oh, yeah, I'm at the beach, I'm at there." I'm like, "Oh, I'm jealous. I wanna do that."
I know we're the ones that are at home working.
I know, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, I went to the beach. Great, good for you. Haven't
That's
seen the
it.
beach in a
And I
while,
think
but
that's
sure."
important, like you touch on it, is that be in the right environment and the right
Yes.
community, because that's gonna change you. And I had this talk with one of my former students from investing, and she's really into real estate now. And she's like, I never thought about it until you spoke about it. So when you're in the right environment, I think that's when you see the possibilities, because you're gonna
Yes.
always have people that's gonna tell you it's not possible, and that's because they've
Always.
never done it. Or they can't even think ahead, like what are the steps you need to do. So you need to surround yourself with the right people that already know how to get there, or also will be able to guide you. So if you want more information about this, Francois, do you have any programs that we can reach out to you?
Yes, let me share, the links here. So I have
Yeah,
2 events coming up,
cool.
one on October 7th. For those joining, it's gonna be a webinar, so if you go to my website, wineandrealestate.ca/my top 5 markets. So I'm gonna be, hosting a webinar on the top 5 markets that I've identified that have the most potential for a
Wow.
trifecta, for real estate investing, for banking, for residency, citizenship, all of the stuff that I've mentioned, healthcare, affordable healthcare, all of that. So you have to attend October 7th at
Nice.
7 p.m. No, October 4th at 7 p.m. Oh my goodness.
It's on
So
your
check
website,
the
right?
link. Please go to the website, October 4th at 7 p.m. I apologize. And then the other one is investing in Dubai. So October 11th, and
Okay.
that one's at noon because I'm joined by my friend Lucy, who lives in Dubai, and for her it's 8 p.m. So
Yes.
that's another big one I didn't mention is time zones. Get
Hmm.
ready for some challenges. It can be challenging dealing with different time zones. So check out my website, wineandrealestate.ca/events, and then you'll see my calendar. And then there's different things. So I'm just sharing information, what I've done. I also
Yeah.
offer some mentoring, so coaching one-on-one, because I mean, it's hard and sometimes you need to bounce off ideas. Should I move to North Korea? Nope, not yet. India, maybe not. Nicaragua, maybe. So, I mean, you
Okay.
gotta start thinking and surround yourself, like you said, with the right people,
That's it.
and it's
Yeah.
just like a plant. Think about nature,
Hmm.
look at how things are composed, and usually it's similar plants that grow together. So if you wanna grow in that respect, I hope to see you there.
Yeah, it's actually the same for birds, right? Birds with the
Yeah,
same feather flock together. Something, yeah,
exactly.
that's it. So if you want to, did you have a plan for international investing, which I find it's, especially in this type of environment that everything is constantly changing and you never know what your country's going to be 5, 10 years from now. There are possibilities of changing it. You don't have to stay there. And Francois, you're such a great example. You decided that this is not working for you anymore, not for your family, even for your business, because sometimes
Yeah,
you have different businesses and they don't flourish in that country. There is a way to do something different. You're not stuck there, and it's such a nice way to think. There's always a solution for everything, so
there
keep
is.
dreaming. Yes.
and keep going. And seriously,
Yeah.
like a business, let's say the income is not what you need to afford it. Well, maybe you
Hmm.
need to find a place where it's less expensive to live until your business does well. I mean, it's kind of endless what you can do and
That's it.
place where you can afford it. So, like I mentioned, Malaysia, super cheap. That was on my list here. 75% off everything, basically.
Wow.
So yeah, but no tap water. So
Okay.
for me,
Yes.
that there you go. That's a big red X. But I love
Yeah.
the shopping and the restaurants and the wine and everything was just amazing. So
It's a good place
you have
to
to have
go
that.
for. It's a good place to go for a few days. So.
Apps or a few
Mhm.
months. Let's say
Yeah.
you want to do, you need to save. Let's say you have big bills. Go there for 3 months. You save on all kinds of things. Then you go to a more expensive country. That's why the trifecta again. You could stay in an expensive country for 3 months, 6 months, and then balance it with like less expensive locations and things.
Right. Yeah. And the cost of living it keeps increasing. It's
Big question here, education for kids. So yeah, cost of living. I mean, for kids, as they grow up, they eat more and more, and they outgrow clothes,
yeah.
and they want this and that. So yeah, education for kids, absolutely. If you're gonna live a trifecta lifestyle, you need to have sort of a homeschooling system because you're going to be
Hmm.
going from country to country. If you're
Yes.
more stable, you pick a place and you go there. Then most countries offer the international. If you follow
Yes.
the French education international baccalaureate or English, there's the British system that's available pretty much around the world. And
Yes.
it's the same regardless of the country. So if you live 1 year in Malaysia, 1 year in Malta or whatever, you could follow the same system.
Yeah, which is nice. People don't realize that they're actually across the board. Like my daughter goes to international in the French system, so she
Yeah,
can actually you can move to another country as long as they follow the education is the same. They're following the same
exactly.
guidelines. So
In Costa Rica and San Jose, of all places, there's the Franco Costarricense School. So it's a
yes.
French international baccalaureate school in San Jose, taught in French in
Mhm.
Costa Rica. So, I mean, if you don't speak French, then look at English options, but
That's it.
absolutely. Another question. Did you run into any LGBT visuals? I knew someone who's a
Hmm.
refugee here for being gay from Malaysia. Yeah, so again, that's another thing about lifestyle. Malaysia is not an LGBTQ friendly country. So any, I don't want to pick on people, but Muslim
Hmm.
countries, Islamic dominant,
Hmm.
is not a very welcoming country for LGBTQ. So I would stick more maybe Latin America. It's got great options. Eastern Europe is
Right.
opening up quite a bit, and it's
Yeah.
not. Again, you got to check because some are Islam-dominated countries, so it's not against the religion. It's just the beliefs. You
Hmm.
want to make sure you're safe there too. So I'd
That's
say
it.
yeah,
There's
Latin America.
yeah, there's that safety factor, right? So unfortunately, like that, when you travel, you'll see it's different. Different countries, everyone has a different evolution, right? So.
That's it. And I mean, it's culture and
Hmm.
choices, and we'll be a bit controversial here, but let's say you don't agree with the LGBTQ community, and that is a fair opinion. Then maybe you
Hmm.
want to go to those countries. So it's offering options. But if you're part of these communities, you have to be careful. Yeah,
Yeah,
not everywhere is a good place.
that's it.
Depending on your lifestyle too. Like if you're more private about it, as some
Hmm.
people are more flamboyant, let's just say, then that
But
might not be the
even
right place.
yeah, but even there's some countries I would say like, we're very lucky in North America. It's changing a lot. The women can do anything
Yes,
pretty much, especially where I live in Quebec. It's a very egalitarian. And but I've traveled a lot, and there's so many places that you feel the difference. They will immediately talk to my husband instead of me, even though I'm the one who's planning everything. So that's another thing to consider as well, especially if you're very used to being an independent woman. There's a bit of a shock when you travel to some
huge.
countries. So it's another thing to consider.
Jennifer, my wife, she followed. Well, she went with me to Dubai and Malaysia, and wow,
Mm,
they talk to you, sir, first. I'm always like, my wife's there. Like, I'm not talking to you, and they spoke with me. So
Yes.
That was kind of weird. At first she was kind of, "Oh, this is annoying," and then she's like, "Yeah, okay, well, you pay the bills and everything, so too bad."
Are there
So
privates? Well, we have another question, Francois here.
we do. So the schools are these private schools. So yes,
Mm,
so when you're traveling like this internationally, or moving, for the most part, you're gonna have to go to private schools, and that will come at a cost. So
mhm.
are you okay with that cost? That's
Right.
why I mentioned the homeschooling part, and not all countries are open to homeschooling. That's another
Right.
one.
That's
If you've got
true.
little ones, you have to think about that. My kids are 17 and 19, so it's not really an issue. They can study online. But if you got little ones, you have to think about countries. Will they allow homeschooling if that's an option, or some sort
Right.
of online school or private school? Is it affordable? Can you afford it? Do you want to afford it? Do you agree with the curriculum? Do
Yes.
you want to move around?
Yeah.
Those are
So
big
many
things.
things, eh? I can't wait to know the five top countries you're going to be talking about on your webinar. I'll be there.
You'll have to join on October
Yeah.
4th. So, okay, I see I opened a hot topic here. So Malta is one of the top LGBT friendly countries. So yes, yeah, Malta for sure. That's a good
Mhm.
option. More kind of Western Europe, some
Mm.
of Eastern Europe, Latin America,
Right.
even Asia. As I said,
Mhm.
it depends on how.
Yeah, it depends where you
I'll be
are.
very not politically correct, but let's say you're a gay couple and transgendered, or like a pink wig or
Mhm.
something, very
Yeah.
flamboyant, then I would say Malaysia's off the radar. But if you're more discreet, and I'm not saying you should be discreet or anything, but
No.
just if you are, like some people are blend in more, because I have met a gay couple in Malaysia and they live there
Right.
and they love it. But again, they're very discreet about their life.
Mm.
Um, and if you're okay with that, that's kind of going back to 30, 40 years ago in Canada. So are
Right.
you okay with that? That's your choice. But
That's
yeah,
it.
I'd say that's something. So we lack morals. Okay, we're not not gonna go too deep in that one, but I mean, you have to choose
Yeah.
where do you feel comfortable as a woman
That's
too. That's
it.
the one you mentioned,
Yeah.
Charmy. Are you okay as a woman? Are you treated properly? Private schools too. Do you agree? I'm not actually a big fan of private schools. I
Mm.
find it creates. I know in Quebec it's a big thing because it's partially, how do you say it, paid for by the government.
Hmm.
That
Right.
makes it
Yes.
more affordable.
That's
I find
it.
it creates an elitist community. So I
Mm.
personally, I don't really agree with private
Yeah.
schools. So you have to know yourself
That's
what
it.
is good for you and your family.
Right.
So it's
And
a
I
very
think
hot topic.
Yeah, and I think it's so personal at this point. Like it really, we can go on and on about these things, but I find, the topic we're talking about, invest globally and limited
Yes,
possibility, is really more in the proactive, positive options you have.
that's my
Because we
goal,
hear
really.
that's it, really, like if you have, if you're unhappy living in one country, and we do it all the time. I mean, my family left my country because they didn't find that there was not opportunities for us as kids. So that was the main reason they left. It wasn't because they didn't love the country. So that everyone has a reason, and I find what happens sometimes in very civilized country, or very like Canada, US, because they're already live in a country that's all the services that they don't think elsewhere there's another
No,
option, so they just get stuck in that country feeling like there's no option. But you have so many options. You don't have to stay in that country just because you were born in that country or your parents were lived there. There's so many things, and I can't wait for your webinar. I want to see those five countries. And Dubai, like you said, Dubai is another interesting country. It's too hot for me personally, but
same for me. Wow, you really, so again, that goes back to that list. Know
that's it.
yourself, your
Yeah.
lifestyle, your sexual orientation, religion.
Mhm.
Do you feel welcome to
That's it.
do your thing? So that will eliminate countries, but
Hmm.
I see that actually as an opportunity. That makes the list easier. Because if
Right.
it's wide open, like my water thing, then I'd be wanting to go to a country every day and I'd be traveling and not doing anything. So
True.
narrow it down, find that
Yes.
list, and it does exist. There's a few places for everybody on this planet. Absolutely. We mentioned here Malta, but Malta
Hmm.
is quite expensive. So maybe it's not Malta, maybe it's Bulgaria. Like, who knows? So you need to
That's it.
make that list and see what are those non negotiables, and
Yeah.
positive as well. That I was down that rabbit hole of very negative. I hate this, I hate that. And I'm like, nope, stop it. I
Nope.
just want, what can I personally do proactively? I've
Yes.
auctioned off everything I own, including my cars now. I'm walking with my sandals at +8
Yes.
and changing my life. So what can you do as well? Like, do you need those objects?
Yeah. That's
Do you
it.
need
And
that
I
job?
Yeah, and don't go into that rabbit hole because I see so much people focusing
Oh,
on
it's
such
so bad.
negative things. And what happens, your brain is going to focus on that. If you're always going to
Yes.
focus on, oh, I hate winter, I hate my job, it's not going to find a solution. You have to think of it the other way. Like, what can I do to make it better? What are my options to make my life better? What can I do to make my life more exciting? That is a better way to, because everyone needs to grow. And I can tell you, having traveled a lot of places, there's always someone who has a lot worse things going on than you. So don't feel bad for yourself. I mean, it's
No,
normal to, at some point we get tired, we sit back. That's fine, but don't feel bad for yourself. There's a lot of bad things going on. There's always an option. It's up to you to change that.
exactly. It's really taking ownership
Mm-hmm.
and be an adult about it.
You're right.
Especially if you have kids, you know how kids can be.
Yes.
So you gotta take the reins. Okay, these are the options.
That's
I'm
it.
able to deal with this and then move on. So that's why we're hosting these and innovate. That's kind of why we started this company to help
Yeah.
people's lives. Our assistants, we want to improve the lives of our team in the Philippines. As you said, it's not the easiest country. They have beautiful beaches, beautiful weather, but lots of natural disasters
Yes,
and things.
for sure.
Healthcare opportunities are hard. That's why your family left. So anyway, it's a
Yeah.
really big conversation this morning,
Yes, I
but
know.
I think the world is as filled with opportunities and
The world is
focus
your
on the
oyster.
positive. It's really your oyster, and yeah, like think of where you fit in.
Mm-hmm.
Just like earlier, we had an LGBTQ conversation. Think about me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm white.
Mm-hmm.
South Africa might not be the best option. So like there's like X's for everybody. There's racism quite
Yes.
a bit on this planet. It's a fact. We're fortunate in Canada. It's less prevalent. It's still
Mm-hmm.
there, but it's not as
Right.
over the top. So think about that, and
So
that's kind of
many
my
things.
advice in a nutshell.
Yes, for sure. It's a great conversation. Like I said, we're over the time because it's such a topic that we can talk on forever, Francois. I do
Yes,
appreciate you sharing, the steps how to get there, and you're doing it from a positive place, which is nice. I think
that's my
when
goal.
that's it. You're doing it because you want a better future for yourself, your family, and you want to have a life that suits you better. So
Yes, so I invite everybody, check it out, wineandrealestate.ca. You can find out about the events. And yeah, we'll continue this conversation. I think this is a hot topic,
yeah.
but really, people, we want to focus on the positive. Think about the positives,
Hmm.
and it's going to change your life. The negative just brings you down, and
That's it. And
it's
never mind.
reality. It's not like brushing it
No,
over, but
not at
what can
all.
we objectively change ourselves? I'm not the government. I don't control the weather, but what can I control myself? And
Exactly.
that's it.
First, that's it. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening for today. And next week we'll talk about another topic. I haven't. I don't think we've
We have
announced
a
it yet.
guest.
Yes.
We have a guest joining us, so we're doing live coaching.
Yes.
And if you want to apply, again, if you want to be coached live, it is possible. You'll have to ask Charmy, where's that link again for the live coaching?
It's in our. It's in our. And well, I have it. If you need it, just reach out to us and Innovate on our website. You can actually put our website, Francois. There's a
Yes,
contact form for that, and just say we want live coaching. So we do it by selection. So you just go through the questions, want to make sure it's the right one for you, and you're gonna have me and Francois really see what else we can help you with. Because sometimes it's nice to have other people look into your business and what you can improve on, what to look into, because we've created other businesses too. So
that's it, because you need to create that solution to,
mhm.
anyway, to grow. So
Yeah.
innovatevacorp.com. Check it out. We have our Facebook group. We have all kinds of free resources
Yes.
and our YouTube channel as well. Check it out. Our older videos are there and you'll see the improvements. So we keep getting better every time, but
That's it. All right. I think
Have a
we're done
great
for
day.
today. Have a wonderful day, everyone.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.